what we shall be designing together is a web app for a health platform. This is the organization's screen. In the previous video, we designed together the overview screen, but here we shall be designing the organization's screen. So let's break down this screen into different parts. So the first part we are going to check through is the sidebar, which is positioned to the left hand side of your screen here. And then we have another part of the interface called the top area, which contains the search feature and the user details and role of the user managing this platform or that have access to this platform. Then we have the main area that has this color. That's the main area. And within the main area, we have several parts. We have the title section that contains the title of the page, and we have the button, which is a CTA to add more organizations. We have also the next section that we can call metrics section. And after that, we have the analytics section that contains a chart and that it contains two charts. Actually, we have the pie chart and we have the graph area. We also have a third section that is a table displaying records of patients who have visited the clinics that are using this interface or this platform. So with this breakdown, we are we have an understanding of what we want to design and what it should look like. So let's get into the designing of this screen. So let's keep this aside and focus on designing the interface together. We have our initial screen here that we designed in the previous video. If you've not seen a video, you should actually, because it gives us foundation to everything we are doing right now. In that video, we covered the design of the sidebar, the design of the top area. We covered the styling, setting of the little typography we are working with. We also covered the creation of color styles, then the grid. So that video is very, very helpful. I'm going to come to the frame tool here, and I'll pick or choose a new screen to work with. So let's call this admin organize organizations. That's fine. So the very first thing I'm going to do is create or change the background color. Let it be the surface. So we have a consistent screen design. Then I'm going to bring in the sidebar here, just like that, align it to the left hand side, and I would make a copy of the top area also, align it to the right hand side, and that way we are done with the sidebar and the top bar. Before we go on to other part, let's change the state of this to the active state here, active, and then we'll change the overview to default because the interface is for organizations, right? Now we can focus on the main area where we shall have the title, the metrics card, the analytics section, and the table. So let's proceed. For the main area, I'm starting with the title, like I said. I'll copy these and bring it inside the screen here. As we design, one of the things we want to ensure, and yeah, want to ensure we do is maintain consistency across different parts. So this will be organization. Yeah, I think that is good. Then for the metrics area, would let's copy this text here. Let's say 415K. And then I'm going to write it the description of the card or the title of the card. Let's say total organizations. This text style is too big, so let's reduce it to something around 20. Yes. Then selecting the two of them, I'm going to add an auto layout so they are all enclosed in a single container. Let's give it a fill color of secondary like that. Yes. Then a left and right padding of 20 and a top and bottom padding of 20 also. This is fine. I'm going to use this two more times. Let me bring this here so you can see what I'm saying. I'm going to replicate this card two more times. And because of that, I would like to turn it into a component so that if we need to make any change to the card, it can reflect across all its instances. So with the card selected, create a component out of that, and I'll call this metric matrix card, just like that. Yeah, we are good with that. Then I can now give it a corner radius of 20. Then I would make a copy of it and we are good. I think that it is a good idea to use the secondary text theme for that. That's better. Yes, we are good with that. Let's imagine that we have 300 active organizations, and the total number of clients that or patients that this platform manages is about let's do 890,000 patients. Yes, like that. So select everything and enclose them in a container. This I would say metrics. I'm going to give it a left and right padding of 20, also top and bottom padding of 20, and I'll fill it up with the surface secondary surface color style. Now, currently it has sharp edges. That would be okay. We are working with rounded edges, so to follow a consistent rounded corner style, I'm going to give it a 20. I would like to differentiate it of these cards separately. There are different styles. You could decide to draw a stroke in between them, but let's work with what I have done before. I'll just add a stroke to it, and you can see applying the stroke to the component automatically is affected on all the instances, and that saves us time instead of selecting them individually and giving them stroke. This saves a lot of time. I would like to increase the line gap between them. So let's do a 16 or a 12. That's this is better. Okay, I think this is more better actually. Yeah, that's more better. I'm going to adjust this line height with to be divisible by 4. So let's do 135, 130, 132. Okay, that works. So in a way, we have been able to create the metrics section very well. Let's give this screen the layout grid for desktop that we are working with so that we can properly align things to the grid. Okay, fine, that works. For now, we'll still adjust all of this later on. The next section we want to work on now is the analytics section. So I'm going to hide the grid and I'll pick a text. Let's say patient. What's the patient type? Let's give the text our primary. Yes, that's fine. Now I'm going to draw a frame so you can have an idea of what I'm doing on a white surface here. So to draw this chart here, this circular chart, you select your circle tool, which is the ellipse tool. Select it and draw your shape. I'm just going to extend that. So you draw your shape there, and then depending on the amount of data you want to showcase, you can do that. I mean, you can create that circle the number of times you want to showcase a data. So for here, we have 4 data that we are showcasing. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's do that. I'm going to copy this and paste it 3 more times. Or let's not use that approach. Let's start with 1, right? Let's start with 1. This is one circle. I'm going to give this the surface primary like that. Then I'm going to copy the circle again and paste it. So I have 2 circles here. Just follow what I have on the layers panel here, on the layers bar here. That's 2 circles now. I mean, sorry, those are 2 circles. How do you start with this? Let me drag this out so you can see what I want to do. I'll detach this color and give a different color entirely. So let's do something like this temporarily. You can see this arc here. You want to click on this arc and open it up first. That's the starting point. Now, as the arc is now, it has 3 parts. You have the sweep, you have the ratio, and you have the start. Let me explain what each of these does. The ratio tells us how much of the diameter you want to create from this circle, how big you want the diameter to be. That's what the ratio does, right? The sweep is used to communicate or showcase the amount of area you want the circle to cover. Just like that. That's what the sweep does. And the start is meant to help us identify where we want this the pie or the chart to start from. So those are the 3 properties of the circle, which we've turned into an arc now that we can work with. So for the radius, I would adjust the radius here to be 75. That's the radius there. Now, this is not going to be a copy and paste thing. I'm just going to use or do a random sweep values, right? So let's split this into, okay, let's start the circle from the 0 point. You can see this is 0. And then dividing a circle into 4, would have to split it into 25% each. So let's just do that. Now, this is one circle. To create another circle like that, select the circle, copy it and paste. Let's give it another color. Currently, it's on the circle that we had, which is ellipse 2. So I'll take the start and move it to where I want it to start from. So it's starting here, and the sweep can be adjusted to accordingly as we want. I wouldn't need to touch the ratio anymore because the ratio should actually be the same. The ratio should be the same. Now we have two circles that or two arcs already. Let's create one more. Control C and Control V, and you will see in the property panel, the layers panel here, that we have four circles. Now we have this ellipse 1, which is this guy here. We have ellipse 2, which is this. We have ellipse 3, and we have ellipse 4 that we've pasted on ellipse 3. So let's change the color. I'll just do this. Yes, and you know what we are going to do exactly. Pick the start and drag it to where you want it to start from, just like that. Then we need another circle, and we'll just copy and paste, and that should give us ellipse 5. I'm going to adjust the color also. Yeah, something like that is not bad. That's fine. And holding the start and dragging it, we have this. Now, this is the usefulness of the sweep. If I want this area to be larger than the other areas, all I just have to do is increase the sweep and reduce the sweep of this part here, just like that. So I'm going to adjust the sweep of this also. I'll reduce the start. This isn't hard, so it's very, very easy to understand. Let me increase the lightness to something like 70. Yep. Yeah, that's fine. Then this also 70, something like that. And I would adjust this too. This is just me tidying things up. Actually, that's all I'm doing with this arcs that we have. Yeah, that's fine. And let's tweak this a little bit more. Okay, that's okay. Now we have the four arcs like that. Select the four of them and bring them to this circle. Let them align with this circle and select them. You can select them properly from the layer panel here and group them. You have to group them. So I'll call this arc, just like that. Now we have to represent them in a data arrangement. So I'll just write in here, let's say it says 800, right? Bring it here. Let's make it bigger a little bit. That's fine. Increase the, yes, change the color style rather. And total total patient, I guess. Yes, total patient. And we'll make this smaller. Now, remember that we grouped these together. If you are going to work with this in a stress-free manner, I would suggest that you auto lay it out first, right? Auto lay it out, then bring it into the arc. That's one, right? Or you can take it out of the arc, but group this auto layout and the arc together. That's the way it will work. This grouping is important by the time we uh decide to auto lay everything out inside a frame or a container. I'll make this to org content so that it does not break to the next line. This also org content. Height also org content. Then the spacing is fine, but I can use a negative margin. Now that's fine. The next thing is now to list out the values and their indicators. So we can work with what we have from here. I'll copy this text here. Let's say indicator one. Of course, then draw a small frame to represent the indicator. Pick a color just like that, and I'll give it a corner radius of 4. That's fine. Then auto lay this out so it is in its own container. That's one. We are going to need it 4 more times, 3 more times rather. So let's make a duplicate 3, and I'll change the color of the indicator. That's just like that, right? That's just like that. And maybe if you want us, we could work with these color styles. It's not going to be bad. It's still the same, that we are communicating the same or passing across the same message actually. So all of these are going to have a frame holding them together. So I would add them together using an auto layout tool. Yes, just like that. So they are all inside the same container now. So I would rename this and say this is indicator. Now we can auto lay all of these out together. And this worked because we grouped these arcs. If we had not grouped them, it won't work as an auto layout like this. It won't hold like this. So left and right padding of 20, top and bottom padding of 20, and I'm going to give it a fill, a surface secondary fill, and just like that, we are progressing. The next the next thing to do is to draw out the graphs. We have this section, this card now. It has a title, it has data on the left hand side, it has data on the bottom side of it. In graph or in mathematics, this is a graph, and vertical display is the y-axis and the horizontal display is the x-axis. So we have the days listed on the x-axis and we have the product listed on the y-axis. Let's get into designing that also. So I'm going to bring this out, auto lay this out because it's a category of its own. Let's give it the 20 line gap, 20, 20, and the corner radius is 20. Let me just do this so you see what I'm doing. Then I'll org it content just like that. So this is the card for the patient, but I would actually change this color because I just wanted you to see what I was doing. They are now in the same container. Okay, that's a better padding there. So let's change this now to white. That's fine. Now I'll copy this title because this is what we're using as a title. I'll copy that like that. Or should we use 22? Okay, I think this is better. Now what we are saying that this is called top ordered product. top ordered product. Go to your shape tool here and select a line because we are working with lines. Here, draw your line, vertical line, and the okay. Let's use a pen tool instead. Select your pen to draw the line vertically and horizontally. Then click enter on your keyboard and you're good to go. So this is the line we just drew. I would now list the product by its side and I will list the days at the bottom. So let's imagine that, or let's assume that this is product one, right? Product two. Now, because we are going to have like five products, it's just okay to put this in an auto layout so that we can easily repeat them and create multiple text. I would go with the 10 line gap for now. This is not a permanent arrangement. It's just temporary. We are going to see how we can make things better. All right. Now this is the container holding the product. So let's call this product. This is product. Then make a duplicate of it because it's still the same thing. I'm just going to let this flow now be horizontal like that. Let it org content actually, and I'll name these to days. Then let's call this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and two more for Saturday and Sunday. Just like that. Adjust it. The alignment, I would let it be auto so it can be distributed evenly from the left to the right hand side. Now, this is good, but it can be better. So I'm going to give it a stroke color style instead. Now this is looking more better. So how do we draw our graph? A regular way, a regular way would be to do something like this, like this, like this, like this. This can work actually, right? This, okay, I was looking for the point it can meet. This can work. Then you begin to tweak things. But let me show you how I was able to produce that without going through those also. Right click on your anywhere on your screen and in the plugins go to manage plugins and search for chart line. Just search for chart. You would see different examples, I mean different plugins given to you. I'm going to work with the chart line here. So click on it and it will pop up a modal for you and you click on run. So here you can play around with different point values that you want to create, and then you can give it a slope as you want, maybe ascending or descending. It's left to you. Also you can make it very smooth or rough. It depends on you, but I'll just go with this, and I think I would like this also. Let's make it smooth just like that. You can make it straight, you can make it curved, but I would go with the curve, and I'm good with this, right? You have another option here to do what you want to do. Depends on you, depends on the kind of graph you want to work on. But I'm just going with this simple chart line. Add the chart line to your board and you can close the plugin. Now select it. You can choose to even do this outside here so you don't get confused. Let's work with the color code, the color code we have there. This is it here. Now the thing to do next is make a copy of it first, and by that I'll control C and control V, or on Mac command C and command V. So we have two vectors now. We have two vectors. So select anyone and hit enter on your keyboard. By doing that, you can come to pen tool, pick the last point, right? Hold your shift key and trace it back to the point where you have the end node there. Then click enter again on your keyboard. And that way you have drawn this. You understand now? If this is your first time, you might want to try this out a couple of times to be able to grasp how it can be done properly. I have two charts lines now. I have the one that we've not edited, and we have the one that we connected from point A to point B, like from the beginning to the end. So for this, I'm going to add a fill. That is the one that we added point manually by ourselves. And I'll work with this for now, yes. But let's make it a gradient fill. So go to the gradient tool there, just like that. Remove the stroke. That is fine now. And then for the opacity of the lighter color, you can do 0 actually, and then you play around with this. But I think that this is good for now. Group it together and you can call it or rename it what you like to call it. So I would say graph. Then you can bring it inside your design here. You can still play around with the fill actually. You can still play around with the fill if you feel like, I mean, you can play around with the gradient if you feel like it's not satisfactory enough, right? So you can say that that is not good. Let's do 25. This is looking better. Then you can also adjust it as you would like it to be displayed. It's just left to you. You are the one in control of this actually, like that. The color depends on you also. I think I used a lighter shade of green. Yeah, yes, I used a lighter shade of green. So let me uh, increase the lightness to something like 40. You can see that, right? That's very fine actually. 40 like that. Yes. I'm just adjusting the field, that's all. I'm going to drag this up. Yeah. Then for this, I would still adjust this also. I don't need this there. For this stroke, um, okay, so this isn't bad, but considering accessibility, it's not that visible. So let's make it darker a little bit. Yeah, I think this works a bit. That's fine. That's fine. So with that, we are good to go, and then we can group it with the vertical lines. That's a graph line now. Group it together, and then you can now also group this together or auto-lay it out. Actually, I would prefer that I group it together. That's the best way I would be able to work with this. This is going to be grouped together, I believe. Yes, group it together like that, and also group this together. So with that, I can now auto lay all of these out and put them in a single container. So Shift A, and that should work. Now you can create your padding there, padding here. Of course, this has to fill the auto layout. So let's fill it. And you can see that you have a good design there. Finally, let's put it all into the same frame with the title. So put them in an auto layout and you are good to go. So just tidy things up from your end as you deem fit, like that. I would give this container a padding of 20 for the left and right and top and bottom. Now, in this frame, convert it to an auto layout and you'll be able to adjust things properly by yourself. This should fill the container like that and reduce the spacing between them to 28. Okay, so that's a lot. Let's adjust this. Yes, that's fine. And we'll manually adjust this too by ourselves. And we are getting there actually. Let's make this bigger. Yeah, like that. Then anything we want to do now can be adjusted by ourselves. 20, like that. 28. So I'll just do 20 as the gap between them. Yes, that work very well. Okay, that is looking good. That's looking good. Let's hug this. This is just me trying to adjust this chart here. The next section we would like to work on now is the table section that contains the record of patients who have visited the clinics. So let's go over that and see how we can achieve that too. Let's rename this table. Let's rename the text and call it patient visit, just like that. And then we'll now create the different columns for the table head. That's SN. I think I need how many columns? Six. So one, two, three more. So we have a name here. The next is gender. or gender rather. Uh, we have date, time, and finally action. Select all the text because they are too big for a table head. So would work with 14. And individually, I would give them each an auto layout like that, like this. Each of these have their auto layout now. If I fill it with the secondary surface fill, you see that they all have their individual auto layout. Then have all of them together also, I'll still give them an auto layout so they are inside a single um, container because right now they are all standing alone. So three, four, five, six. Add an auto layer to that, and that's fine. So this is a container of its own now, right? I would adjust things like this. Um, Evenly distribute them for now, just for now. That's me giving it a feel. I just needed to show you that it has a feel now, but I'll go with the surface feel for now also. Then this is a table head, right? I'll give that turn it into a component and creating an instance of it. I'll detach it from being an instance of that component. This is now what will this is what will be the table row now. So let's do number one. Let's write a name, gender male, date is let's do 5th 5 April 2026. 2026 time is 9 a.m. And the action, we have the style already, so let me just search for more. Yeah, like that, bring it inside here. I'll change the color to secondary, delete the text, and this is fine. One more thing I need to do is change the alignment of this text to be left instead of center. All right, fine. Like that. This is where you can now adjust your table measurement, the column measurement of each of the columns. First, let me give this a white fill. Together, they would be called, this should take the width of 96. Yes, like that. Then I would let this fill the container. Yeah, just like that. Then for the gender also should take about 120. Yes, like that. This should also take 120. Yes, like that. This also 120, just like that. And the action also should take about 96 because it's not really big. Now, they all have an auto layout that is spread, but I'm going to adjust it to be something like 12, just like that. Then let me reduce this so that we can have a neat table. It's currently at 491, but I'll do 360, right? And then each of these can now spread evenly. Currently at 120, but let's see what 280 is like. That's too much. 280 is too much. Let's do 180 for each of them. reduce this to 100 and action should fill. That's better, right? So this is fine. This is my table row. I'll turn that into a component and have multiple instances, right? This is the table body. Add a an auto layout to it, so it's held in a container of its own, like that. That's fine. Then bring this into the container also. Yes, something like that. But it should be at the top. So we have our table now. Actually, we have our table. Then select the title and also add an auto layout so that they are all inside a frame together. And with this, we are making good progress. Now, one thing is this is calling for a need to make adjustment to this section. So let's reduce this a little bit. Yeah, that's the table. So for the table, let's fill it up with surface primary, and then this container holding the table itself, I'll give it a padding of 10, like that. 10, 10, with a fill of secondary. Yes, that's fine. Let this fill the container like this, and you're good. So for the table head, I'll just adjust the corner radius at the top left to be something like 12, top right like 12, and you are good to go. Then we can now give this container a padding, a corner radius of 16. Yes, just like that. Just like that. Now I can extend this because we have a good table arrangement already, and then create more columns, right? Just like that. Then I would correct this symbol to be a pound symbol. Let's now change all of this field to match the background. So we'll turn it to surface just like that. Then the text will be lighter, a lighter shade. Yes, that's actually very okay. Now you might want to give this padding of 10 across it. That's fine with by you. Depends on what you want to do, and I'll give this a corner radius of 20. And this is it, guys. We are making good progress. Let's increase the left and right padding to be 16, top and bottom to be 16 also. This is fine. This is very okay. I'm going to bring in a picture of one of the users. So I'll just draw a frame inside the component here, and whatever I do would reflect across board because I'm working with a component. So right click, go to plugins, manage plugins, and search for um, avatar. So let's do this. Let's choose avatars. And from here, you can just select any image you like, right? Just like that. But the fact that you are creating the avatar for this does not mean that you cannot select each of these by themselves. But before I do that, let's give it a rounded corner of that. Yes, 32, but let's do 40. Yeah, that's better. That looks better. Then each of these frame I can now change what they look like, right? Just like that. So it's not working, but it will if you just click the right thing actually. Just like that. Like this. And finally this also. Here. That's it. I'm going to delete two rows from there so that I can have space for, okay, let me delete just one so I can have space for the pagination. The pagination has been done already here, so I really do not need to start all over. All I can just do is bring it inside here by copying that instance. Remember in the first video I said that if you are going to use it repeatedly, it's just okay to turn it into a component, and then you can now use it across board. And as you can see, we've used it. So let's close this, and we have this. Yes, there are little modifications around what we have done so far, like the use of avatars. These human avatars, I already have them in my own. How would I describe it to you now? I have them already. Like I created a component for avatars having different sizes and you know different genders actually. But I just wanted to show you how to get avatars. Should in case you need to do without bothering how you can get that achieved. So that's it, guys. If what else do we need to do? Nothing actually, though. Nothing than to say this is how far we've been able to come with what we have so far, right? This is good, actually. This is very good. If I want to close this up, I can just do that. You can see that that's fine also, like very, very fine. And that's the table for this screen. Now we have a filter here, right? I think we add a filter here also. So you see the importance of component and variant. So I just have to, let me just copy the entirety of this title here and paste it in here. So I don't have to do that all over by myself. Then, of course, delete, then copy this text away and replace this here. And guys, we have successfully designed this dashboard. I believe you learned a thing or two. Finally, like I did in the first design also, I would lay all of these out into one single container. I would align them properly where they should be, right? Where they should be, just like that. Then I'll begin to adjust the padding as I like. From the left, 20, by the right hand side, 40, at the top, 28, at the bottom, 40, just like that. And guys, this is what we've been able to design together. Let me tidy this up by saying that they should fill the container, and that is now good looking. We have a very clean dashboard actually. I was scared of the height before, but I think we can adjust things now. Let's do 20. Yes. While so this is the part where you want to finalize things, put things into proper perspective and all. That's just it's just on you. It's on you actually. No pressure from anywhere. No pressure at all. 20 like that. Okay, let me do 20 here. Yes. Yeah, just like that. And that's fine. Line gap should be about 28. Yeah, like that. And we are good. All right. Thank you everyone for staying tuned. And this is where we draw the curtain to this tutorial. I'll see you in another video.